Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kyle Carroll from Carroll's Corner MMA Podcast. Tonight, we are joined for Fins and Fury. CEO of Jackhammer Promotions, Bobby Campbell, is joining us tonight. So, Bobby, we're going to bring you in right now. As always, a pleasure, Bobby. How you doing?
What's going on? I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Now, you got a fight card coming up August 17th, a Saturday. Normally, you do Sundays at Mulcahy's. This time, a Saturday night. Big card, big undercard, and then you got a main event that we're going to talk about, a main card we're going to get a little more into detail about, and we're going to bring a couple of fighters on as well. Tell us a little bit about this undercard and this whole fight night that you're bringing together, Bobby.
We like to keep everything good, and trying different things. We are actually, the main card is I want to say YouTubers. I guess that's what we call them, YouTubers in the fish and reptile world are going to be doing battle. They're going to battle it out in the ring. So these guys have been training for the past, 6 to 8 months. So the main card is, I got to be honest, it's going to be interesting fights. I mean, these guys are all coming in from all different states, from Canada. So it's going to be real entertaining, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And it's something different, too. Like you're talking about the YouTubers, they're aquarium guys, so they're fish guys. Little different background than normal fight scene, the combat sports scene, but it's unique and it's something different, and I don't think it's ever been done before.
No, it's funny because my Facebook news feed came up 3 years ago. We were the first ones to do a women's tournament. If you remember the Queen of New York, so that was Queen of New York, yeah. And also the main event 3 years ago that got canceled was supposed to be myself versus Crazy Phil Baroni.
Oh yes, yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would be very interesting. So we always try different things, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now tell us a little bit about this undercard. We got some title fights on it. It's the local guys. Tell us what we got here going on, cooking up, because we got some good matchups.
The title fight that we just announced, which is Tim. I can't pronounce his last name. He's fighting Colin Cullen, who's undefeated MMA fighter, who's I believe he's 4-0 or 5-0. Most of his fights are stoppages, and he's fighting Tim, who's 6'6" or maybe 6'7", very tall, who has a lot of experience on Jackhammer Promotions, and he's also undefeated, but he's undefeated in kickboxing. These guys are going to mix it up for 205-pound kickboxing title, which I am ecstatic about. I think this fight could have fight of the year all written all over it.
Now, you do a phenomenal job matching up these guys. You find a lot of talent that's never fought before, and then you match them up, which is a pretty difficult thing to do when you have guys who've never fought before. Like, how do you know where they'll stand inside the cage, inside the ring? Like, how do you know where they're going to match up? How do you do that, Bobby? Because you do a phenomenal job matching these guys up, and there's some good fights. They're not quick knockouts.
Well, I appreciate that. I think just years of experience, years of being around the gym, years of fighting. People forget I got 79 fights. I've been around this sport since 1998. That's longer than most of these guys. These guys never even weren't even born yet. Some of these fighters, you know what I mean? So I've seen it all. So it's easy to pick up on who's good, who's bad, or what stylistic fights are going to be a good matchup.
Absolutely. I'm going to try and bring on some fight real quick. Let's see what we got here. So you can see, so people can see some of the matchups. There we go. Just so people could see. Here's some of the matchups that you have, Bobby, that you've announced on the for the fight card. I believe this is the one you're talking about with Cullen, correct?
Yes.
Now you can see these two guys are both coming. They passed the eye test. They're coming in shape.
Yeah, I mean, both undefeated in their aspects. One's an MMA fighter, one's a kickboxer. This is for a kickboxing title. I feel this one's gonna be fire. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and one of the best things I think that tell a great fight is when it goes the distance. A lot of people always want to see the knockout and the submission if it's MMA, and they want to see those finishes, which everyone wants to see them, absolutely. But a great fight is two fighters that get in there and prove themselves inside the cage and go the distance. And here's another one we got going on this night, another title fight. Tell us a little bit about these two guys.
I'm so blind. I gotta look forward. So you got Alvin McCorland, who's he's a veteran. I mean, this guy has MMA fights. This guy has kickboxing fights. Most notable fight is his loss with Joe Simons, if you remember, when he dropped him twice, I believe, in the first round, and then Joe came back and won the fight all in the first round. That was a crazy fight.
Yeah, that it was, because you don't see that often, someone get knocked down twice and then get back up and finish the fight. But amateur fighting, as you know, Bobby, is a wild game. It's the wild west of combat sports, and it's awesome to see these guys continually compete. And like you said, he's a veteran as an amateur, which doesn't happen often anymore.
Well, you're right. Everyone wants to jump and be a pro, and everyone wants their face all over social media. Yeah,
absolutely.
They gotta learn to take the tough fights in the amateurs. That's what makes you a better pro.
Now, these fights can be found on finsandfury.com, so you could go there, purchase the tickets if you want to show up to the fights, ladies and gentlemen, or you can just watch the pay-per-view. Either way, you're going to get a great show. Definitely worth watching. We got some great commentators joining us for the undercard as well as the main card, so you're definitely going to hopefully be entertained. I definitely believe you will be.
I definitely think you will be.
Bobby, you're what are you, 13, 17-time world champion?
10-time world champion.
10-time world champion. 17 sounds pretty good.
17 does sound pretty good.
What do you see in these young guys when they get in there and compete, or anyone who's doing it for the first time? And what's some advice you have for them when they're like jumping in, testing the waters for the first time?
I always tell people cardio, because your technique's going out the door because you're going to be so nervous. And every fighter always tells me the same thing. Oh, I'm not going to be nervous. I'm not nervous. Then all of a sudden they get there and they're nervous. It's a different feeling when someone's across that ring and trying to do as hard as they can. It's a different feeling with a crowd. It's a total different feeling. Everything from the weigh-ins to the fighters meeting to just hanging out in the dressing room to the walk down. You get so nervous and have all this wasted energy. People don't realize how important cardio is for your first couple fights. Cardio is more important than your technique. That's for sure for your first couple fights.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. I never fought in a ring or a cage, but I wrestled in high school and college. And I know I was nervous before every match. And it's like, you don't think you are. You're pumped, you're confident, and all of a sudden you feel that in your stomach. You're like, no, nervous for sure. And no matter how you do, whether you win or lose, you're always nervous before a fight.
I tell people all the time, I still get nervous. And I know you don't. I'm like, yeah, I still get nervous. I'm like, if you're not nervous, then you're really not fighting, because the other dude's trying to kill you.
Absolutely. Like Bobby, like I said before, you're a pioneer in the game. I think you're definitely, I believe you're the longest running promoter on Long Island. Definitely the longest sustaining the same name. And then, you've been doing it for so long. You pioneered bringing people in from overseas on the amateur level to compete in boxing and kickboxing and MMA, which is definitely unique. And you see people that competed on your show, Jackhammer Promotions, just win a big fight in England boxing the other night.
That is true. Guys, don't forget, we got Jackhammer Promotions UK. Don't forget, we got a promotion all the way in the UK. We don't mess around. Jackhammer Promotions here, and we got Jackhammer Promotions in UK. We don't mess around. We're everywhere. We're worldwide.
Everywhere. Worldwide. That was a great show. But I'm going to bring on a couple of the guys that will be competing. They're the fish guys, as you could put it. We got Joey and Rod. Welcome, gentlemen.
What's up, guys?
Going on, you guys. You guys are competing. I'm excited to see you guys get in there. I know you guys have been training a lot. Joe, I'm going to start with you. Like, why did you want to get in the cage, the ring, and compete on this level? It's usually a game for younger guys, they say, 21, 19 years old. And here we're gentlemen in our midlife, and you're getting inside a ring doing something that most people would never do.
right now, I'm at the age of 41 years. With that said, by the time I was 19, I had served around 3 years in prison. I come from a background of fighting and living a life of less. So combat was always kind of a part of who I was, and it kind of shaped who I was as a man. However, once I got big on YouTube, I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if we jumped on board this whole YouTube craze and put on something that was entertaining, fun, challenged ourselves, got into shape, and did one last thing that we could truly be proud of, because there's nothing more respectable than getting in the ring and facing an opponent that's trained to hurt you.
It's amazing. And
now I thought about this for a few years, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I've thought about it for a few years. And then I saw Rod kind of training, and he was with Bobby. And then Bobby's a 10 or 11 time kickboxing world champion. And he's like, yo, if you guys want to do this, I can make it happen. And that's what happened. It just happened so fast. And then getting into the fight world is kind of, it works great with like social media people. Everything's on social media now. Everybody's an influencer. And the more of a following you had, the more you can promote it. But I wasn't ready for everything that comes with it, because it's a serious business. And it takes a tremendous amount of sacrifice and training. But at the same time, it's incredibly exciting. And I'm super pumped to probably stop my opponent in the second round.
Sweet. And Rod, you're another guy. Same thing. You're 38 years old. You're a fish guy. You have a beautiful facility full of fish. And what makes you want to hop in there? I know you're probably training to stay in shape type of thing. And then you're like, you know what? This is pretty fun. You want to smash someone's face in.
Yeah, honestly, the reason why I got in, it was mainly to stay in shape, because I always lift weights my whole life. But Bobby was right next door, so it's like, why not? You know, and we actually did a funny video going there because these guys were using my parking lot. Remember, Bobby?
I remember.
It was great. I was going twice a week, and until Joey brought the idea up, and I thought it was a great idea. I thought it would be something cool and different for the hobby that's never done before. So we said, let's go, let's do it. But he's right. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication. You know, getting punched in the face is not fun. But, you know, you start learning things that you would never expect. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A whole different world from what you're used to.
And training, I'm sure, just getting involved in it, training with Bobby, training up in Canada, Joe. I'm sure there's like a whole nother different feeling of confidence in yourself, not just personally, but just all around as a human. Like the confidence probably builds and grows as you're training.
Yeah, when I stepped into a boxing ring, so I used to box when I was younger, maybe for like a year, and I didn't like it because it was all cardio, and all I wanted to do was fight. However, as a man, and after a tremendous amount of street fighting, I got humbled real quick in a boxing gym. These guys are incredibly talented. They know how to throw punches accurately and pop properly, and they drag you into deep waters. And what motivated me about that was I don't want to be scared boxing or sparring against somebody. So I have to get better, and I have to get faster, and I have to diet, and I have to train. The fear of defeat is obviously what drives me. But most importantly, I think that I think deep down I'm a fighter, but I really want to put on like a really entertaining, a really fun event that not only showcases that fish keepers aren't all that nerdy, and it sounds nerdy, but a lot of people from troubled past keep fish to keep calm. But I'm also excited to work with Bobby as well as yourself and your company, and to kind of showcase to the world what you guys are capable of. Because in my opinion, based on what I've dealt with over the past, since November, which was we're coming up on almost a full year of working together, has been world class. And, you know, just the weigh-ins, the fight night, the after party, everything. I can't wait for this to happen. I know Rod's right there with me. Me and Rod were talking at first, and we were like so worried about training and stuff, because sparring sucks if you don't know how to box, because you're just getting beat up.
Absolutely.
And I wish they'd stop hitting me in the nose and give me gut shots. Well, I'm a lot better now. I'm excited to put on a good show and put on an entertaining thing or entertaining event. But the only takeaway that I have is I kind of just want to watch. I don't even want to fight at this point because Bobby's put a card together that every other day he's announcing a new fight. And I was like, I don't even get to watch this. I got to be out back. I'd rather be up front watching. He's got 3 title fights, and then I got one, and Rod's got one, and Rod's fighting a monster, and I'm fighting a guy that has unlimited cardio, and he's not going to stop until I hit the canvas. Like, I don't know this is probably going to be one of the loudest events of all times at Mulcahy's in Long Island, part of my Canadian, in Long Island, New York, on August 17th. It's going to be an absolute, with the younger kids, movie. It's going to be a movie.
Well, for those who've never been to an MMA fight or combat sports, boxing or anything else, or kickboxing, the atmosphere there is unreal. Like I coach high school football. I've been around other sports my entire life. When you're in a facility or an arena like Mulcahy's or anywhere else and you're competing, Bobby knows this from throughout the years, the atmosphere is just unlike anything else.
I've been to a UFC event
real quick.
I was to a UFC event. I watched Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. I sat 2 rows back. I was darn near front row. Like, I could see Joe Rogan. I could see everybody. And when I was at Mulcahy's watching this, I could hear the punches. I could hear the corners.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the acoustics or what, but I thought it was like scary to be there and exciting. And my adrenaline's just rushing. It was the perfect environment to watch a fight. Otherwise, when I was in person watching UFC, I thought I'd rather just watch this on pay-per-view because I couldn't really see everything. It's so loud. But this place was Mulcahy's is the perfect venue for something like this. However, I think it's only like 975 people can fit in there, and tickets are selling rocket fast right now, especially with promotion picking up.
No, Rod, you're a fish guy. Tell us how you got into the fish, and then a little bit about your background in that.
I had fish since I'm originally from Brazil, so I had born in a place like Key West, on the beach all day, every day. So I had fish since I was a kid, but I started Predatory Fins, my company, mainly for me to be able to get my own fish without my wife killing me because they're not cheap. And that's the true story. And it turned into a business, and I never really wanted to have a fish store. Just happened from there. But I was always into sports, working out. Just boxing is a different animal. I got into it older, and I wish I got in a lot earlier. That's definitely something I want Bobby to train my son when he's old enough. I think everybody should try it. It's definitely something that if you're not doing to fight somebody, to stay active and be in shape. Like I said it before, I've seen guys at this gym that's like 76 years old, and they look amazing. I wish I could do like that when I'm 76. So
and there's girls that go to the gym too, and like if the girls have been going for a while, they're kind of intimidating. I've sparred a few and got my butt kicked by like 13-year-old girls.
So those are some of the best fights.
What?
I'm going to be happy to hear that.
Those are some of the best fights, the female fights. The women get at it and beat the hell out of each other.
I was 19 years old when I got into fish keeping, and the reason being is because I used to have like a high vibration level where I was always angry. I was always mad. I always wanted to fight. And, fighting on the street is certainly not the answer. Boxing is not about that, of course. But the only time I would calm down was in front of a fish tank. So my ex-girlfriend at the time bought me a fish tank, and it changed my life forever. It just calmed me down. It's like medicated me almost. But this is going to bring something out of me that I'm not so sure everybody wants to see. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to be in a ring, and you're not allowed to leave until somebody loses.
You can, but it would be embarrassing. See, I'm on the other end of the fishing aspect. I like fishing. I'm catching them and gutting them. You guys are
not food.
yeah. See, I eat them after I catch them. That's the kind of fish
fishing too. I don't really eat a lot of fish and or seafood, and that's ironic because I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, surrounded by seafood and oceans. But I eat a lot of clam. Shout out to my wife. But I've never really been into eating a lot of seafood.
Bobby, what makes this appealing to the casual fan, someone who's never watched combat sports before? Because I'm sure you guys being in the fish world, we're going to get a lot of new viewers. What makes this so appealing?
It's because you know what it is. It's guys who train for not their whole life, train for a little amount of time, and have the, excuse my language, have the balls to get in there and fight it out. Like this is pure, it takes guts to get in there. So these guys don't have, years and years of experience. These guys only have a couple months experience, and they're gonna go in there and give it their all. So it's definitely gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be a little bit different than a regular kind of bout. You know what I mean?
Well,
Absolutely.
Since you mentioned balls, that's something that Joey had said. Like, it's hard to find people to sign up because not everybody has it. You know what I mean?
Turns out a lot of people sit down to pee. With that said, one of the things that I like to point out is about the fight and why I'm excited about the card, especially with the guys I know. It's like having a buddy that's going to get in a fight, and it's not in the backyard. It's not on the street. It's like, oh, you want to fight him and he wants to fight you? Meet up in 1 year or in 3 months. Let's see. That's what's exciting to me. Like, let's see what you can come up with. And now they're going to fight. Of course, they're not going to look as great as the fights that Bobby put together with those title fights and stuff. These guys are world-class, world champions, etc. But it's more so kind of more. I believe our fights will be a little bit more relatable while Bobby's, for the majority of the card, and in my opinion, it's like the main card of these title fights and these real fighters. And we're all real fighters, but that card is, I just don't want to act like I'm overshadowing it, because if you don't tune in or get the pay-per-view and watch early, you're going to miss out on probably the real fight of the night. And one of these guys are going to get fight of the night, and their name and their footage is going to be shared everywhere, and they're going to explode overnight. So if I were one of the guys on the undercard, go for fight of the night, because I believed that night on August 17th is going to change your life.
Absolutely. There'll be a lot of fans after that.
Well, Bobby did mention something funny. He said, or interesting. He said, the ones that don't know how to fight are the most entertaining fights.
It's very true. Very true.
The what? Say it again.
Say it again.
All hot.
He said the ones who don't know how to fight are the most entertaining fights.
Yeah,
they're wild because everybody has a puncher's chance, and sometimes that's where the knockouts happen.
For sure, and a lot of people have never been hit in the face before, and like Tyson says, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face, and then we see where everyone's at, where the heart and the character is at. That's for sure.
I'm a little worried about it because I am, and I know what everybody's going to say is like, Joey, what are you going to do being so gosh darn pretty? What happens if you get hit in the face? I'm not. That's the plan. Is I'm going to hit and try not to get hit.
There you go. So we have a couple commentators doing the main card.
Yeah.
We got Jay Wilson and John Hudson. Tell us a little bit about those guys. What they bring to the commentary team. For the main card.
The pair of them have been in the game for over 10 years, a decade of producing videos and as well as commentary. John Hudson, for example, is taking this abundantly seriously. He's researching all the fighters. He's getting all their details. He's making sure that he puts on a very professional commentary portion. However, then Jay Wilson has also been in it for a long time, knows how to talk, knows how to carry the conversation, but has a little bit more energy and will crack jokes and that sort of thing. So he'll be more so, in my opinion, color commentary. And then, of course, we have people interviewing the fighters before their fights, after their fights. We've got about 40 creators at this point, 30 or 40 creators coming. It's definitely a tremendous amount of personalities all coming together at once to promote Long Island, New York, Mulcahy's, Jackhammer Promotions, as well as boxing. And then fish keeping seems like it's the last thing we care about. we just want to see we just want to be a part of something like this, and we're all excited.
Now, does the winner of the title fights get like a fat ass fish or something, or
we were thinking about that?
Mounted.
Rod's going to fight for a belt. I'm going to fight for a belt. I have some plans and some ideas that I'm going to work on. That's going to make it incredibly interesting. But if I lose, I'm probably, my wife will probably divorce me based off the bet that I think I'm going to levy against my opponent, Lucas Bretz. However, if I defeat my opponent and Rod, by the grace of God, defeats what is coming out of a forest to fight him, and he beats him, then perhaps me and Rod might match up in the new year, but we'll see. Awesome.
And do we have any sponsors we need to shout out? Anyone to recognize as the show is coming closer? Because we're August 17th is only less than a month now. Actually, a month as of today. Today's the 17th.
30 days out from the weigh-ins, 31 days from the night of the fight. Yeah. We have sponsors that have signed up at different levels, and they're definitely getting exactly what they've signed up for. But we've got fish food companies, probably companies that you're not interested in hearing about just right yet. But
absolutely. Okay.
But we have
Bobby for a second. I'm going to get it when he gets back on here. So tell us about your businesses, gentlemen. How can people buy fish from you if they want to buy fish? Tell us a little bit about your businesses, Rod.
Oh, my store?
Yeah, tell us where we can find you online and in person.
We're actually in Long Island. We're not open yet. We've been here for 3 years waiting for permits, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take?
Should have taken a lot sooner, but the building that we bought, only we're allowed to sell boats out of that building. So the CEO of the building, says boats only. So we had to remove that. It's a big process. But we do online sales. People buy our fish through a website, predatorfans.com.
Awesome. And Joe, you're up in Canada, so there's not too many Long Island guys headed up there to buy any fish anytime soon, I'm sure. But if they do, where can they find you?
So it's almost like Rod and I are the perfect match in terms of what we do. So I focus on education. I show people how to build the tanks and aquariums and how to keep certain fish. And then I send them off to Rod to buy them, to buy the fish, to put them in what I taught them to build.
And then when they don't know what to do with the fish, I send them to his channel to learn.
So when I find out their tanks are too small, I send them back to Rod. No.
So do you build tanks, like custom tanks in people's homes and stuff, or
no? Just for me. I'm incredibly selfish in that aspect. No, I only teach you how to do everything. I'm like a coach. Teach you how to keep the fish, how to build the tanks, whether you want to build it from glass, acrylic, plywood, concrete, turn an old TV into a fish tank, make an upside down fish tank, how to build a pond in your backyard, all of that type of stuff. But I've been doing it for 16 years. So I've been on YouTube for a very long time. And to put things into perspective, because I know that like some of your viewers might think that these are just fish keepers. 1.6 million people subscribe to my channel. Almost 500,000 subscribe to Rod's channel. Fish keeping and pets is a massive parts of our lives, and we're all human beings, and we all have these types of things we want to do too. But I believe Rod and I sat off on the sidelines for a very long time watching boxing, thinking we should get into this at some point.
Absolutely. And Bobby, tell us a little bit about Campbell's Kickboxing here on Long Island. You got a new facility, beautiful facility, just opened up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Brand new in Amityville, 72 Merrick Road, right down the block from my old gym. But yes, right down the block, 72 Merrick Road. Kids, women, adults, private lessons. We do group classes, kickboxing, boxing, MMA, grappling, self-defense, and strength and conditioning.
You forgot to mention couples.
And couples. I train couples.
There you go. Yeah, there's a business right there. Couples. Teach them how to beat the shit out of each other.
And you guys all being from like Long Island or the Long Island area. When I went down there in November, I went past a sign that said Amityville. I was like, no way. I Googled it For those that don't know what they're talking about, yes, it's the Amityville that you're thinking about from the movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can find the house still. They changed the windows.
House is 2 minutes down from the gym. 2 minutes.
Oh
away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still probably possessed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you could go anywhere on Long Island if you want violence. That's for sure. You don't need Amityville and have some ghost to molest you at night.
Wouldn't mind.
So, but gentlemen, we're gonna sign off here because we're gonna do this again a couple more times before the show, the fight start on August 17th. I'm glad you guys joined us. We're gonna get some other fighters to hop on and talk and tell their story and why they're getting into the ring or the cage and competing, which is an incredible feat for anyone who does it. I respect anyone who climbs in and competes. It's an awesome task, and I'm looking forward to call the fights, the early fights with my buddy Joe, we've been doing the jackhammer fights for quite some time now, and it's always a great show, great atmosphere. I'm looking forward to this fight. This is going to be a great night. Fins and Fury, ladies and gentlemen, sign up. Go to finsandfury.com, get your tickets, get your pay-per-view, get it while you can. You don't want to miss the show. It's going to be awesome.
And if you are from Canada, get the pay-per-view and support me. I'm the only Canadian going down there. I'm going into enemy territory, and I'm going to need your support. But I'm coming.
You're going to need Terrence and Phillip to help you down here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carol's Corner MMA Podcast, and we're signing off.